Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and all. This is Peter Stanton with Walter Yerkew on 7.5 Radio for July 4th, 2026, America's 250th Independence Day. Now, we are recording this on Memorex because our production staff have lives. Anyways, we would have Rick Brain joining us, but he is missing in action once again. But sitting right next to Walter Yerkew is another Mike Dowd. Anyways, Walter, happy Independence Day to you, sir.
Yeah. You too.
Anyways, it is a very special time. Everybody's coming in loud and clear.
Are you in the basement? Are you in your
Yes,
bunker?
I live in the.
You're going to have to
Yes,
come up
I live in
outside
the basement.
and see the light of day or something, because I can't hear you. Liz, is he breaking up or what?
All right. Well, of course.
This is why we got 6 listeners. What'd you do? Did he hang up, Liz? Did everybody? Did you hang up on me?
Yes, it's breaking up like he was. Now you used to adjust the ears on your TV when you were a kid to get reception. Okay, we got it. Hold it right there. And you couldn't. You had to leave. Don't move. You have to stay there the whole show.
Stand in that position.
You reflect the waves back onto the antenna. That's what that was like.
All right, I'm back.
Talking? Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
Did you come out of the bunker?
No, I'm still in the bunker. For whatever reason, I'm looking at my Wi-Fi connection. I got 4 bars. So, I don't know. The wonders of modern technology. Anyways, let's go get this show back on the road. It is July 4, 2026, America's 250th Independence Day. Also, it is a special time for 7.5 Radio for a number of reasons. Besides Independence Day, where we told King George to go kick rocks, today is also Liberty News Radio's St. Bushman's birthday. Also, July the 5th, 1968, is the Doors' iconic concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Also on July 5th is also known as 7.5. We encourage all of our listeners, all 6 of them,
July 5th.
To say again?
You went to jail?
July 5th, 7.5 day.
They went to prison?
Right. We encourage all of our listeners to...
July 5th is also the day in 1989 when Michael Dowd drove me to jail.
Turned him in.
Wow, didn't know that one.
I had to get rid of him. He was eating me out of house and home.
How's it going, Mikey?
It's going okay. I'm down here in Sewanee with Walter in the woods, but you need a compass to find us if you're looking for us, though. I'll tell you right now.
Right. So if you want to buy the law, just go to the house. Good luck finding that one. But anyways, back to our special time of the year. On Sunday, July 5th, post anything 7.5 related to celebrate not only 7.5 Radio, but the movie The 7.5 and the exploits of Walter and Mike and the rest of the boys from the 7.5 precinct. Also, on July 1st, 2023, this was an epic show of a whole bunch of firsts. It was the first show at the home of Luciano de la Torre, who many shows that are epic, number one. Number two other family members made their first appearance. One of them literally changed the face of radio and did great things for 7.5 Radio and the whole radio industry, bringing 7.5 Radio to a whole new level. And the other family member is Mike Rakebrandt. Now, first order of the women of the law enforcement community who were in the line. Once again, we have no names to read off. Be safe, one and all. Now, for this show, we're going to do mostly good news because this is the 4th of July. And the other 51 weeks of the year, we just do nothing but bad news. Our first news story is that America, the Department of Justice, is going after its enemies. Finally, the Department of Justice launched an investigation into the fundraising efforts of left-wing groups funded by multimillionaire Neville Roy Singham. This gentleman lives over somewhere in Asia. He is a multimillionaire. His wife is the founder of the leftist group Code Pink. So allegedly, he's been laundering money through Goldman Sachs in Manhattan. And the money's going from him to Goldman Sachs to a whole bunch of shell companies that funds these left-wing organizations. And I say it is about damn time. Because for way too long, people like Singham and George Soros and many others have been funneling money to these anti-American violent organizations. These groups literally look to overthrow the U.S. by any means necessary. Perfect example is 2020's Summer of Love when St. George of Fentanyl left this planet. You had protests going on the streets of Minneapolis, and you had pallets of bricks just so happened to be near the protest site. So, and like I always say, Joe McCarthy was correct. So let's hope the Department of Justice finally indicts this guy and charges this guy and sends a warning shot to everybody. It's like, hey, if you fund these left-wing anti-American organizations to overthrow the government, we will come after you. Walt, what say you about this Mr. Singham being investigated by the Department of Justice?
Well, right now I'm not so worried about this character. What I would go after, those bricks, those pallets of bricks got there somehow and were purchased by somebody, and that provider had to bring the bricks there, get them off a truck with, a forklift and put them down. I would go after the seller of the bricks first, okay? Because he would have the most, or she, or they would have the most to lose. Because if you're a legitimate gun dealer, okay, and a guy comes in and says, I need to buy a gun because I'm going to kill this guy or some guy, or I'm going to attack a school, and he sells that gun to that kid or man or tranny, he's responsible. It's like a bartender giving a drunk a drink, and the drunk goes out and has an accident and kills 5 people. That bartender's held liable also. So where the bricks came from, they're liable because, listen, if you order 20 pallets of bricks and you stash them and you have them deliver one on one corner and one around the block and one around the block and one around the block, in the middle of these protests that they call them, the Summer of Love, burning down the city in Minneapolis, they should be held liable. Let's start there and work our way up and follow the money. Because just going on there, deny it, and pay lawyers to make motions to deny and to adjourn and have another hearing. It's just going to get delayed. So I think go after the little guy. Let this guy who's going to lose his multi-million-dollar brick business, and let him testify and get it on record that this Chinese prick paid for this stuff. You follow me?
Well, you want to go after the person that's selling the bricks, like Home Depot or Lowe's, or you want to go after the person that's buying the bricks? You want to go after the Home Depot saying, some guy says...
You go after the person that's selling the bricks because they got to deliver them, and they're going to be delivering them in the middle of a war zone. They know they're going to be used for weapons.
Maybe they don't.
All right, when we come back.
Maybe they think
all right.
Construction job.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Where will you be this July? If you believe in freedom, if you believe in thinking for yourself, then there's only one place to be. Freedom Fest, the World's Fair of Liberty. July 8th through the 11th in Las Vegas. Join thousands of liberty-minded Americans for 4 unforgettable days of ideas, debate, and celebration. This isn't just an event, it's a movement. Go to freedomfest.com now. Use code ROUNDTABLE100 for your exclusive discount. That's freedomfest.com. Freedom, ideas, action. What if there was one place where the boldest thinkers, the fiercest defenders of liberty, and the most innovative entrepreneurs all came together? There is. It's called Freedom Fest, the World's Fair of Liberty, and it's happening July 8th to the 11th in Las Vegas. Hear from Glenn Beck, Steve Forbes, Adam Carolla, Kennedy, and Nick Shirley, the journalist whose investigation into government fraud reached billions. Watch history come alive with a live reading of the Declaration of Independence. Witness the high-stakes mock trial of ICE. Explore cutting ideas in finance, health freedom, and entrepreneurship. And when the sessions end, the celebration begins. Comedy, film festival, live music, and the unforgettable Independence Ball. Freedom Fest isn't just something you attend, it's something you experience. Tickets are going fast. Go to freedomfest.com right now. Use code ROUNDTABLE100 to save on your registration. That's freedomfest.com. Don't just talk about freedom, live it.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting done staring at Danila's Instagram account. Here's more 7.5 Radio.
And we are back. Scoop standing with Walter Yerkew, not Mike Rickbrand, but Michael Dowd, who is visiting Walter down in Swanee, Tennessee. Once again, we are celebrating America's 250th Independence Day. Our next story is about conservatives fighting big tech, big pharma, big business, and winning. Conservative pundit Mark Dice in 2023 released a book called The War on Conservatives. It was an Amazon bestseller. Amazon is the biggest bookseller on the planet. So 3 years go by and everything's hunky-dory. Mark sold some books, put a little bit of change in his pocket. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Amazon banned the book for sale. Not only they banned it from buying directly from Amazon, but they also prohibited you from buying used copies on Amazon. Because somebody from Amazon said it might result in a disappointing customer experience. Well, if you buy half the crap on Amazon, especially clothes, you will experience a disappointing customer experience. So, anyways, Mr. Dice, he appealed to Amazon, and he was told to go kick rocks. So Mark went to Conservative Incorporated, all the so-called conservative pundits, the big conservative pundits on cable TV and online and so on and so forth. And he only got one response from one outlet. That's the Daily Caller. So the Daily Caller called up Amazon and was like, why you ban this man's book? What was so bad about his book? So then Amazon all of a sudden had a change of heart, and his book is available for sale once again. So kudos to Mark Dice, kudos to the Daily Caller. But my issue is not only with Amazon, because they're constantly banning books. There's a number of books, including Gene Raspiel's book, Camp of the Saints, which is an eye-opener, which was released over 50 years ago, about mass third world immigration to the West. That's still banned, and a number of other books. But my issue is with Conservative Incorporated. Big media, these big platforms, big channels, big streaming services, that does nothing for fellow conservatives such as ourselves, such as Mark Dice, such as a number of other people because they're only concerned about themselves. They're only concerned about putting food on their table. They're not concerned about what's going on with their fellow conservatives, how they're getting doxxed, how they're getting banned, how they're getting shut out, how they can't put food on their tables, or the way this country is going to, which is down the toilet. So they're worried about themselves, worried about their little corner of the earth, not worried about anybody else, especially the conservative movement, which is, again, going down the tubes. Personally, I think the midterms are going to be just an absolute disaster. And also something else that's what was going on wrong in this nation. Well, Walt, what say you about Mark Dice getting back on Amazon?
You got an opinion on this?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this over to my buddy Mike.
Yeah. So
Mike, take it away.
First of all, kudos for him for having the temerity to continue to go forward, and look for support, because I think you made a good point. A lot of, it's like the movie industry. The guy does a movie about you make him a millionaire, and then you don't hear from him again because he's not looking to carry people along the way. He's looking to just keep his own lane open for himself. Same thing here. This guy, he writes a book. It takes off, and then people find it either offensive, like the big word in the libtard community, offensive. I'm offended by something. Someone gets offended, they put a note to Amazon, and rather than read the tea leaves, Amazon just bans it, because they don't want to deal with the backlash. So meanwhile, it's the largest company, basically, other than Elon's new company. Amazon's probably one of the largest companies on the planet. They could withstand any little bleep in what would you say, a little bump in the road, a little discredited, or something that's not. First of all, people got to get out of the narrative that a large majority of. There's no large majority. It's the silent the tiny, small, big mouth people out there. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Well, some squeaky mouse makes a complaint, and it changes the dynamics of someone else's life. And this guy's laughing in the corner. I just shut you down. I just shut you out. For what? For their own little pleasure, so they can go in the corner and do something for them, for their own little excitement. And people have no clue what it takes to get a book out, to get a successful book out. Guy breaks his ass, gets himself, in a position to maybe even turn a profit on his narratives, and someone's got to get mad and shut him down. I think it's just petty-oon. I think it's small-minded. In this world, we encourage debate, only if it's our way, not their way. I mean, this is from the libtard side. I'll sit down and debate anybody about any idea, and I wouldn't defriend them or if we don't agree. I don't know. It's perplexing to hear all this nonsense.
Right. Well, what say you about Mark Dice unbanned on Amazon?
No, I think my friend hit it right on the head. It's the small-minded people that are making bigger people work harder to get what they're after. And it's what this country is about. You're allowed to do these things, and if somebody gets offended, well, okay, you're offended, and then they try to throw a monkey wrench in what you're trying to do and in your success. And like Mike said, it affects other people's lives, and it's just for their own pleasure. It's just for their own pleasure. They do things on purpose to make somebody else fail who is succeeding, and that's just not right. These people just they have no other recourse except to sit in their recliners and be keyboard warriors and make people's lives miserable because they're miserable.
Let me give you a parallel example. I produced a cigar with Diaz from the documentary, and supposedly the NYPD is outraged. There's no one in the NYPD that was outraged. I'll tell you the facts. I sold 80 boxes between 40 and 80 boxes of cigars the day after the article came out about my producing cigars with Diaz, and 70% of those guys that bought them were cops, probably NYPD. So the outrage is fake. Okay, you print something in legacy media, whether it's Even the Post, who's basically pro-cop, in this case it was pro quote-unquote, the NYPD, because of the rogue cop from the NYPD and Diaz were producing a cigar. Anyway, I sell out my cigars 2 or 3 days, and then that wasn't good enough. They went and they called the Tabacalera in the Dominican Republic. This one individual, you get what I'm saying? One individual, if you continue to produce his cigars, the whole NYPD is going to refuse to smoke your cigars from this Tabacalera, which covers 200 brands. I mean, that's the impact that one squeaky mouth can have on not only just my private little label, but the entire industry and a company that's been around over 100 years in the DR producing cigars for, American consumption and worldwide consumption. And that's what one squeaky mouth can do.
Wow. Unreal. But are you still making cigars, or is that business kaput?
Well, so we've been put on hold for trying to rebrand it, because initially they had to remove my face from the cigar because of this. They reproduced it without my face, and of course, it's basically the Dowd Diaz cigar, and it didn't do as well without Dowd on it. So now we're rebranding it. We're hoping to actually put it together for the Super Bowl season / Christmas season. So we're looking for investors. If someone wants to pony up a couple thousand, we need about $10,000 to be raised to produce it properly. So that's the story.
All right. Well, we'll be
$10,000 out of our listeners.
Yeah, you got a bunch of listeners with a lot of money.
We only got like 6 listeners.
Well, maybe after your hashtag down, you'll get another 6.
Right. Anyways, we're almost out of time. But real quick, Caitlin Clark, the new face of the WNBA, she brought the WNBA back from extinction. The WNBA is subsidized by the men's basketball league. So, anyways, this poor lady, she's a white girl. She's red hot, turning up the courts, and she constantly gets assaulted. And then some jerk off podcaster who I guess used to be NFL he says that the Caitlin Clark should leave the WNBA because now the WNBA is a household name. But it's like saying LeBron James should have quit the NBA when he brought that back to life. So, anyways, that just shows that people had the freedom of speech just to talk stupid. Anyways, any comments on the idiot saying like the greatest player in the history of the league should leave?
No.
Yeah, I do. I think that
go ahead, Mike, real quick.
There's a lot of jealousy, and it's become violent. It's sort of like the libs against the conservatives. It's become violent because the libs are losing out, and in the WNBA, I hate to use it because it's a black and white. It's clearly a black and white issue. The black girls, who are very talented, by the way, are not getting the attention that Caitlin Clark gets. Well, 70% of the country is white, okay? So, it's unfortunate. A lot of white people want to see a white girl shoot a basketball in a hoop. And who's damn good? It's like a Larry Bird, right? Larry Bird and Johnson. What a great opportunity for challenging talent and to raise an interest level in a league. And they're going to be profitable fighting in this league probably. And now they're trying to kill the Golden Boot.
Protecting your liberties. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. From north to south, it is as hot as a July 4th firecracker across the eastern part of the country. Not only heat, but all that humidity making for sauna-like conditions heading into the holiday weekend. Scott Kleebauer at the National Weather Service says there's no relief, even at night.
I noticed this morning that a lot of areas up and down the I-95 corridor, were actually struggling to even get below 80 in some cases.
Well over 150 million of us are feeling the heat. Triple-digit temperatures in Washington, D.C., forcing schedule changes for some of the Independence Day events, possibly the cancellation of some events. Air conditioners are running full tilt, along with energy-hungry data centers. That raises concern about the electricity grid, with any relief from the heat still a few days away. Heat in the east, wildfires, they continue to rage across the west. The DOJ is taking aim at new gun laws in a couple of states.
The Justice Department is suing California and Virginia over new firearm laws, arguing they violate American Second Amendment rights. The lawsuits target California's restrictions on new Glock-style pistols and Virginia's ban on certain semi-automatic firearms. The legal challenges come just days after the Supreme Court reaffirmed that the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. Willie Nelson, The White House.
The rush is on across Venezuela's north coast, a rush to identify victims of the twin earthquakes. With at least 2,300 people killed in last week's two quakes, the country has been overwhelmed. Authorities are struggling to recover and then to identify the bodies of the victims of those earthquakes. There is no trading today on Wall Street. The stock market closed in observance of Independence Day. It will be back to business as usual on Monday morning. The Dow to resume trading just 100 points shy at 53,000. Townhall.com.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Cybercrime is exploding. Take Sarah from Sweet Delights, whose world crumbled after having to close with not being able to bounce back. Small businesses are prime targets, but the right strategies can keep yours safe. Jay Hill, CEO of Network Providers, has co-authored The Cyber Playbook Simplifies Cybersecurity for Business Owners with Strategies to avoid costly breaches and fines. Build a strong cyber attack response. Secure your business with key protections. Cyber threats aren't slowing down, but you can stay ahead. Protect your business. Ensure its security for tomorrow. Get the Cyber Playbook today at networkprovidersinc.com/cyber-playbook or call 385-446-5500 now.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement, how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at cspoa.org. That's cspoa.org.
Where will you be this July? If you believe in freedom, if you believe in thinking for yourself, then there's only one place to be. Freedom Fest, the World's Fair of Liberty. July 8th through the 11th in Las Vegas. Join thousands of liberty-minded Americans for 4 unforgettable days of ideas, debate, and celebration. This isn't just an event, it's a movement. Go to freedomfest.com now. Use code ROUNDTABLE100 for your exclusive discount. That's freedomfest.com. Freedom, ideas, action.
Wow, you're still listening? Here's more 7.5 Radio.
And we are back. Walter Yerkew, Michael Dowd, and fresh off his proctology exam, Michael Rakebrandt on this 4th of July 2026. Mike, how we doing, sir?
Doing great. The exam went well.
Outstanding. Anyways, moving right along, I have a great movie recommendation. The movie is called Citizen Vigilante. At the end of the movie, it says,
This film is dedicated to the thousands of rape and murder victims in Europe who were betrayed by our legal system. Now, 20 years ago, I was stationed overseas in Europe, and just the onslaught of migrants from third world countries just off the chain. So I've heard about this movie because for whatever reason, Elon Musk streamed it on Twitter for 2 days for free. And the nation of Germany would not give the movie something called an age classification, I guess, for ratings like the Motion Picture Association in America has here in America. So distribution was prohibited in Germany. In Germany, people, if you ever been to Germany and watched regular broadcast TV, there's stuff that looks like Cinemax After Dark. But anyways, I digress. So I watched the film, and this film is very, very politically incorrect. A couple things I was shocked, though, was just the amount of gore in this movie. Now, I understand the director wanted to make a point with the violence that is going on in Europe, but I think he overdid it with the amount of blood and guts. And another thing I had an issue was the main character, or so-called hero, was killing cops. Now, the hero itself is a American military veteran from the Army, and he's going on out of vengeance, and he's taking some of his anger out on the police. Now, me as being former law enforcement and former military, just like Mr. Rakebrandt, it's like cops and military people are cousins. We have mutual respect for one another. But anyways, the movie starts off where a dark-skinned migrant stabs a woman to death for absolutely no reason in the middle of the day. And it just goes from there. And critics complained that the movie was stereotyping migrants, which is funny because the movie came out in June, and also in the same month of June, you had a Sudanese migrants almost decapitating a man in Belfast, Ireland. And another scene in the movie, you had an evil version of the Mod Squad. For those who are old enough to remember the television series, these three youths, a girl, a young white kid, and a young black kid were acting up, and the main character took care of business. So I was very impressed with this movie. It is definitely a must-watch. The points that the main character makes, besides the violence, is just absolutely on point because I was there 20 years ago, and I can just only imagine the way it looks today. So anyways, you go from there from Europe right here to the U.S. real quick. You have a illegal immigrant in Minnesota convicted of child rape. He gets pardoned by the state of Minnesota. Mike Rakebrandt, since you're late, and I'll give it to you first. What's your opinion on a movie that points out the migrant crisis in Europe?
I watched it. It's an excellent movie. It was banned in the UK and Germany now, and I think it's an excellent movie. It's a very poignant piece about exactly what's actually happening in Europe right now and what's going to happen here if we don't reverse that trend. So it's unapologetic. It's extremely graphic. It's gory, but it's a very, very clear, accurate statement about what's actually happening and what's going to happen. Listen, you can only push people so far. Eventually, you're going to get blowback, and that's what this movie's trying to say. It's saying, listen, we're at the cusp now of vigilante justice. We're at the cusp now of this blowback of these people going out and fighting back on their own since the government's actually working against them rather than trying to help them. Their own governments, mind you. So I think it's an accurate statement about where things are at and where people are at, and the fact that it's so popular tells you exactly how people feel.
Exactly. Mike Dowd, any opinions on this Vigilante movie?
Well, I thought it was very riveting, right? I saw a couple of clips. I didn't see the movie itself. I saw a couple of clips. I can see why some places banned it, but unfortunately, because they don't want the truth out there, to be honest with you. This guy's exposing the truth. Like Mike himself had just said, people have had enough. I'm seeing it through internet, which you never know which is true anymore, but I'm seeing a lot of uprisings throughout Europe. I believe one of the countries in the EU just went like 70% conservatism, overthrowing their, I don't know if you call it the Liberal Party, the the Labor Party. They're all losing their footing now in these nations. And I don't know if it's too late, because the power structure that's been put in place by the people that are part of the rape gang community, if for lack of better terms, they put themselves almost like how Obama and Clinton built the federal government to be impervious, so when the new man steps in place, he can have very little effect. I hope, which leads to uprising, right? Because when you put a guy like Trump in charge of the United States government, and he can't get anywhere because you got judges and you got bureaucrats in places that finally the Supreme Court ruled that Trump's in charge of the government the other day, right? Where he can change people and fire people. I mean, it's been an endemic virus that has infected our nation, and vice versa in Europe. They've put these, and I'll just go out and say it, these Islamists in charge of these local jurisdictions, probably manipulated through the Soros funding, where they can control things. And don't ask me why Soros would be so Islamic friendly when it's, he was allegedly some kind of Nazi supporter. So I can't make sense of the direction. But what I do know is that they overplayed their cards, and uprisings are for a reason in many cases. Most cases, there's some kind of truth behind whatever the agitation to an uprising is. And if you're raping my daughter, just like any one of us on this on the call here and in the audience, if someone's raping your daughter, I think the people in your community would be favorably disposed to support vigilantism if the government wasn't handling it.
Very well said. Well, what say you about a movie called Citizen Vigilante?
Well, I haven't seen it. I saw a little excerpt of it. But to talk about like the violence that you mentioned earlier, Scoop, I think they overdo they would overdo the violence to bring attention to it, because if it was laid back, most idiots are going to say, well, it's not so bad. It's collateral damage. But if you make it, extreme, it gets more attention and it'll get more traction. And because of that, like you said, it's been banned in the UK, it's banned in Germany. So it's got traction. It's going to get attention. And the next step of attention is real life. It's happening now, but it's not part of the narrative for the liberals. So it's kind of squashed. They mention it, and then that's the end of it. Unless it has something to do with the opposite. Like the Ukrainian girl that got killed on the bus by that mutt. It just didn't fit the narrative of the day. So Lake and Riley, it didn't fit their narrative. So it was played down. But it's gaining traction, and the attention will be there. Now we just need the right people in the driver's seat to take over and start clearing these monsters the hell out of our country.
Can I interject something, Walt, real quick? Of course.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's like calling Trump and his supporters a Nazi, right? So then you're condoning some backlash behavior. Right? It's sort of, you could call it the reverse effect, but it's like anything else. You call something out enough, you dehumanize people. In Europe, they're dehumanizing Europeans, right? And in America, they're dehumanizing Trumpsters and supporters of the president. I mean, I didn't know I was a Trumpster. I wasn't for their game. So now you become labeled, and now you're free game for the opposite side. And it's not. It's almost like what's the Purge, right? It's almost like the Purge now. I mean, we can go off onto this in a real forum where you can spend hours discussing it and bringing people in. Actually, victims. I'd love to hear from a victim and then a family member of a victim who had to, a father or mother of a child that was raped or abused by some of these animals, and then see what see if they don't have 100 movies like this one that's been put out just recently. I'm getting a little agitated, but yeah. So you get what I'm getting at. So Trump's bad; he can be killed. So they only had 3, 4. How many attempts do you think they really have attempted that they thwarted?
Well, all right, when we come back, we will celebrate the greatest nation on the planet. Stay tuned, everybody. This is 7.5 Radio.
In the medical field, IT security is crucial. Our highly skilled consultants are HIPAA certified and have 20-plus years of experience servicing medical clinics, billing, and supply companies. We offer comprehensive endpoint protection, guarding your computers and servers against all stages of threats. And with our 24/7 monitoring services, you'll never worry about extensive downtime again. Ready to level up your IT support? Call 801-706-6980 today and discover how great IT services can be with managed IT services.
I believe there will come a time when we are all judged on whether or not we took a stand in defense of all life from the moment of conception until our last natural breath. As a teenager, I gave my first public speech in my church. My hand shook, my heart pounded. I thought to myself, I can't do this, but somehow I did, and because I wanted to talk about things that were important, I persisted. I chided my church as a senior in high school for not seeming to care about the not yet born, for looking the other way, and for not taking a stand on life. I will be in earnest. I will not equivocate, and I will not excuse. I will not retreat an inch, and I will be heard. One thing I promise you, I will always take a stand for life.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
And we are back. Scoop Stand with Walter Yurkow, Mike Raybrandt, and Michael Dowd. During those very important commercials, I was doing my due diligence and looking at the Instagram account of our spokesmodel, Danila Rodrigues. Follow her at danilarodrigues.model. That's danilarodrigues.model. And I was looking at the Instagram account of one Walter Yurkow. Follow him at Walter Yurkow on Instagram. Real quick, I want to talk about the greatest country in the world. It is these United States. I'll go over real quick about what makes this country great and what makes us great being here in America. Real quick, our government our founding fathers were absolutely brilliant in forming our republic. 3 equal branches of government with a balance of power where each branch has oversight over one another. You have the Electoral College. You have Congress, which is bicameral, which means you have one house based on population of each state, and the other house has the exact same number of representatives from each state. Wyoming has the exact same number of senators as the state of California. Also, in terms of Constitution, founding fathers gave us the brilliant Bill of Rights. First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth, Fifth, and 10th Amendments are really outstanding. Also, America has one of the largest, most advanced, well-trained, motivated, and prepared military forces in the world. America is home of some of the greatest technology in the world. You have things such as light bulbs, cars, electricity, washing machines, medicines, telephones, refrigerators, microwave ovens, elevators, internal combustion engines, air conditioning, airplanes, computers, the internet, and the smartphone. We owe a lot of people a lot of thanks, including Ben Franklin, Nikola Tesla, Eli Whitney, Henry Ford, and also Les Paul. Entertainment. America has the best entertainment around. Period. We invented the movie cameras. We invented the movies, television. We also invented rock and roll. We also have radio, podcasting, video games, professional sports, and amusement parks. America also loves the underdogs. We always root for people that are always down and out. Perfect example, 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. So Anyways, this nation is also a nation of forgiveness. From those on top fall from grace, we applaud them when they get back on their feet. Some of these people include Donald Trump, Muhammad Ali, Mel Gibson, also Michael Dowd, and Walter Yerkew. Now, as for 7.5 Radio, we have our own Made in America story. Mike Raybrandt joined the Navy to serve his country. He became a hospital corpsman or an EMT in a war zone. Then he joins the NYPD. During COVID, he was told to take the jab or get out. So guess what? Despite having a large family, he decided to get out. Now, he also ran for office and lost, unfortunately, due to election tomfoolery. So he went into business for himself and is a co-host here on 7.5 Radio. Then there's our lovely spokesmodel, Danila Rodrigues. She came to America about a quarter century ago, became a championship bodybuilder, a nurse, a business owner, a mother, and in 2023, she decided to enter the world of media and become the first radio spokesmodel. Danila made Talkers Magazine twice. Then there's yours truly. I achieved my dream by joining the New York Police Department, and I ruined my dream all by myself. After struggling, I joined the Navy, and then I gave that up because I listened to my wife. But time and time again, I bounced back, and right now I am the happiest I've been in my entire life because I got to live my dream of starting a talk radio show. I can honestly say I started my bucket list and completed my bucket list before I reached 40 years old. Then there's Walter Yerkew. Walter was also a member of the NYPD. He got caught up in the scandal we all know about and paid his debt back to society. Upon returning to society, Walter, you became a social worker helping those in need. And then you went from a corrupt ex-cop to a movie star, and now you're a co-host on the world's greatest radio show. Anyways, with that being said, I will give it to Mike Raybrandt. What say you about America in 250?
I think that it's an amazing country. There's never been a country like this at all, even remotely. You know, there's no other place in the world where you can have the kind of freedom we do, or you can have the ability to be whoever the hell you want and do whatever you want. I mean, us three alone are a prime example of how far you can go and how far you can achieve in various fields. So I love the country. Obviously, we served it, all of us, right? We served our country in one way or another. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be standing here. I'm very proud to be able to say we're celebrating our 250th anniversary. That said, there are a lot of elements in this country right now, unfortunately, that hate everything we stand for, hate everything that makes this country such a great place to be and a great place to live. But obviously, they're failing in every way, shape, and form. And it's nice to see on the 250th anniversary of our country the so-called corrupted elites being destroyed at every level and on every step of the way.
Right, and we need to keep it up to destroy these elites. But anyways, 250 down, 250 plus to go. Michael Dowd, what say you about this fine nation?
Oh boy, we don't have a long enough show, but the bottom line is this: this celebrating this soccer tournament throughout the nation, and what makes me the proudest and most humble person, and basically that I believe that I can be, is to watch other people praise our nation from other countries that have basically been talking smack about us for at least the last 10 years, and probably the last 30 or 40 years since Jimmy F. and Carter. I believe that this nation has proven itself through all these people coming here from outside of our country, how wonderful we really are, and how, the Country Road, Take Me Home song that they've been singing at every soccer match, and the foreigners are singing it. And I mean, it's a very humbling and a source of pride for me to watch this thing go on based around the soccer matches. And Boston and the Scots really kicked it off. Very special, I have to say. I'm not the greatest fan of Boston, though I love them. I'm a New Yorker, right? So I can't outwardly root for Boston in any way, but I do secretly love them. I admire them in many ways, especially the Irish up there. They don't give up, and you know what's going on in Ireland right now. But yes, America has shown its true colors to the rest of the world through the soccer tournament, and it's wonderful.
Outstanding. Well, what say you about America in 250?
Well, it started out, pre-250, when you had all these gentlemen from across the pond getting together and wanting to create their own country and get away from, like you said, England. And the ideas that they came up with were probably because of personal issues that they had at the time. They come up with the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and this is where I love this country, is because of those people 255 years ago got together to start to create this country, and the rules and laws that we supposed to follow today. Had it not been for that, I'd probably still be breaking rocks in Attica somewhere, because the law allowed me to get out and do whatever I needed, even Mike Dowd and you yourself in the position of losing the job because of certain reasons. Those people frowned upon us when we, walked out the door and came back into society. And our society, goes both ways. A lot of people wouldn't pee on me if I was on fire. A lot of people wouldn't give me a cup of tea if I was thirsty. But you keep pushing and keep pushing, then you'll find somebody with a fire extinguisher that would put the fire out. You find somebody with a bottle of water that'll give you something to drink when you're thirsty, and you get stronger from that. And our country has let me get stronger over these past 30-odd years, and I'm happy with what I have now because it's this country that stood behind me as a whole in the Constitution to get where I am. So, my appreciation of that is being viewed now around the world. Like Mikey Dowd said, you got people singing about our country around the world now. Whereas 25 years ago, when 9/11 happened, they were burning flags all over the world, burning American flags all over the world. So, you have to open up your eyes to see what this country is about and what this country allows and why it allows what goes on. And, it's got its limitations. However, people that don't appreciate this country just need to move the F out and, go somewhere else.
Amen.
Yep, but they won't. Especially, more people that were born here hate this country than people that came here from somewhere else. And anyways, for Walter Yerkew, Mike Regbrandt, Mike, this is Peter Scoopstan wishing everybody a safe and happy 4th of July. God bless America. You can make a difference. Go out and make it.
James Edwards for 7-5 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.